So before we get started with today's podcast, I wanted to take some time and, just kind of give a personal shout out to everyone out here that's been affected by what's going on right now with our global pandemic. Of course, I'm not going to say the name of what's going on because I don't want to see this video, of course, become demonetized or then taken down from YouTube for discussing it. I've heard that that's a possibility that could happen, so I'm just going to try and avoid that overall. But I do want to take some time to kind of shout out to you guys that have been following me for so long. You've watched my content here on YouTube. I really hope that everyone right now, I really don't think this is something that a person should sit here and joke around about here on YouTube or toss a mask on their face and or a gas mask or something and play light of this situation, because we have thousands of people that are dying all around the world right now. And it really is. It's bad that overall this has to happen right now. Right, of course, as I'm trying to sit here and come back to YouTube with more content. It has been somewhat difficult for me to kind of coordinate everything that I'm doing right now with all of this stuff that's going on right now, and also work with so many people online. So I have so many different things that are in the works right now for this channel, reaching out to different companies as far as having guests on the podcast. Things have been somewhat difficult over here, and of course trying to get the right kind of focus to bring all of these things together and bring you guys more content has proven to be somewhat difficult, especially right after moving as well. But enough about my situation, more so about your all's situations. I hope that everyone is safe. I hope that you guys stay safe, stay at home, and of course avoid contact as much as you can with people if you have the ability to. And it's I know it's frustrating for some people that they have to go to work. They've got to support themselves. That's where some of this stuff comes in really, really handy for you guys that are stuck right at home. We'll talk about this stuff maybe a little bit more throughout the podcast, but I want to show you guys just a lot of appreciation. The ones that are here, they're watching my channel. You've been waiting for content. I'm going to try and get you guys some more content throughout the time that you're stuck at home. But once again, everyone, be safe, and let's hop into our podcast. All right, everyone. So welcome to another episode of the Beer Money Podcast, where we talk about ways to make money online with paying smartphone applications and paying websites. Now, if you're listening to this podcast over at Anchor, one of the places that it's being launched right now, then I really recommend you guys come over to the YouTube channel, because our format is going to switch up just a little bit here, and there's going to be more news and information centering around paying apps and paying websites that are coming out that will be within every single podcast. Now, I'm going to have a string of information at the bottom here for you guys to check out something brand new for making money. So there are a couple of really big points that I want to make right here at the beginning of this podcast. One, I'm about to be on the news over in Japan. So this is actually very, very interesting. By the time that this video goes up, I believe that we will have our recording done. So I'm doing a video interview with the fact that, of course, there's a global pandemic that's going on right now, guys. And I'm going to have to sit here and do this recording from home. But I was approached by a company called NHK, which is pretty much, you would describe it as what NPR is here to the United States, and also BBC is out to Great Britain. That is exactly what NHK is to Japan. So it is, of course, a news network, and this video that they showcase within their news should be out to millions of people. So I think it is, to me, it's an honor overall, but at the same time, it is so amazing to think that this world of making money right here in the United States is now kind of getting some attention all over the world. Now, what better time for this information to actually make it out here to the world whenever everyone is trapped right at home? Well, maybe not every single person, but we're talking millions of people right now are stuck at home, and they are not able to go out and go to their regular jobs that they go to and make money. So This world is important. I want to stress something right here at the beginning of this video, and I've kind of talked about the site in the previous videos that I've done. Like I said, the format is going to be a little bit different here in the future, but of course, at Beermoney.world, someone in Japan could go there right now, and of course, they could watch videos with what's called Hideout TV, and they could make money from right there in Japan. So if you didn't know, Hideout is actually available outside of the United States to so many different countries, Japan being one of them. So I would encourage you, if you're watching from over at Japan, check it out. It is a way that you can put some money in your pocket. Now, do people make thousands of dollars a month out of this stuff? It's not like it used to be. There's not maybe thousands of dollars to be made whenever it comes to these paying apps and paying websites, but there is still definitely some money to be made. And we're going to talk about that today a little more, as well as we're going to talk about the Vice article that was wrote. Believe me, I've got some steam that's been built up over here for Vice's article that they did centering around phone farming, and there's a lot of topics I want to discuss within that. We're going to focus on just a few of them, though. One of them being they tried to portray this world of phone farming as if every person that does this stuff, if you notice right here in the video, I do have a phone farm that's going right now. I am making some money from it every single month. But they try to portray it as if every person that does this, that uses their smartphones to make some money, that we're all out here, we're just scheming fraudsters. You know, all we do is we launch these videos on our phones, and we keep our phones tucked away in cupboards and in closets, and that is so far from the case. The people that have these phone farms, the amount of interactions that it takes to sustain a phone farm like this that you see in the background, if you are a phone farmer, you know exactly what it's like to have to manage your farm every single day. Now, for the people out there that have sat here and they've gotten into this world of automation using applications like Automate, FREP, Tasker, Automagic, you guys know at the same time how much effort it takes and how much interaction still you have to have with those apps. And in a lot of cases, how sometimes it just will not work for having things to where it really doesn't. Having things fully passive and sticking the phones away in your closet, it's just not a reality. So there's this massive misconception that was put out here on the web. So for the person that's never even heard about this world and they immediately go and they read this article, the first thing that they think is people are out here just doing anything and everything that they can to sit here and abuse an application to make money. And that is so not the case. So now, they did hit it right on the nail that there are people out here that do. They take these applications, they try to find ways to make them less frustrating for us. This is the biggest thing to mention. These applications can be very, very frustrating to work with. Now, if you're a company out here that has an application and you have no set device limits, you haven't said how many accounts a person can have in their household, and in a lot of cases, if you go over to an app, that's exactly what you find. You find that there are no main guidelines or rules for some of these apps. It's very, very vague. So who is to sit here and blame whenever a person does? They go and they run one app from one company, they run another app from another company, they combine those applications together, and then they're sitting with 50 to however many phones, and of course, they're making money that way. So at the end of the day, it falls upon the people that have these applications, their shoulders, and also the ad providers to let us know what to do and what not to do. So as far as bending the rules, I've talked about this before as well. I don't think that every person is out here, they want to bend the rules. We want things to not be frustrating. We want to be able to be paid and paid decently. We don't want to make fractions of a cent. It'd be nice to make cents as opposed to fractions of a cent for whenever we watch a video. Now, there are some companies out here that really, they want to pay you really well for your time. And that's where, of course, I've really tried to stress online. I try to break down this information for what is the most profitable. What ad providers are paying people the most. You know, and I have to point out that this world of watching videos passively, it still exists. It still does. And we're talking pretty much almost 100% passive. So if you look over at one of the most popular Get Paid To websites right now, which would be called Swagbucks, they have a fully passive video section. Now, I've heard recently that there are CAPTCHAs that pop up on that application, but still, this is a really, really passive application from one of the most popular Get Paid To websites. Most people that I come in contact with at this point have heard of Swagbucks, or it rings a bell with them to some extent. So, this is where I have to sit here and question the app providers that are okay with this. They're like, well, this person, they may see our advertisements. If they want to watch the advertisements, we said this before as well, if they want to watch the advertisements, they'll watch them. But once again, you can't force a person to sit here and watch an advertisement. So, and I really feel like that needs to be stressed, because I would like to see a different sort of model pop up here that brings this world of making money this way back to life. Now, it could pan out that within the next year to 2 years, there's no telling how long what's going on right now with our global pandemic that's going on. There's no telling how long this is going to last. What if it does last a year to 2 years? What if tons of people are trapped at home and they need to make some money? And how important would it be right now for something like this to revitalize so people can make some money? So, I've thought about this recently, guys. There is, of course, there's like the ad revenue that's going on with all of these different companies, and a lot of them are probably sitting there saying, well, is this a prime time whenever we could sit here and put our advertisements out, because everyone's at home. Everyone is either staring at their phones or they're staring at a screen. They're looking at a computer. This would be a very, very big time for advertising to go way up. And actually, I read an article somewhat recently that was talking about mobile advertising, how it could go upwards here within the next year. And the one thing that's really interesting is the apps that I've been working with recently, they have seen like a decline of advertisements. And I've questioned, whether that is because these companies are maybe preparing for like a different way that they are about to do things. So I've actually seen my phone farming profits have gone down, whereas like a month and a half ago, I told you guys I was making a lot of money from my phone farm. But recently it's gone down just a bit. So though I am still making some pretty okay money here with phone farming. I want to try and stay on topic, though, and talk about this article a little more. To see, of course, Vice put out this article and have that kind of a context for most of the article. It was very, very frustrating to me, though I knew it was coming, because, it's Vice. You've seen the things that they talk about on their YouTube channel, the stuff that they reach out and they try to get information about. So those types of topics. And I can understand, of course, why they put that up on the internet in the way that they have, of course, for the attention aspect of things. But I really want to try and stick up for the people out here that are doing things 100% legitimately. They run these applications. So let's look at the paid to download applications, for example. If you're paid to sit here and download a game, play that game, reach a certain level within that game, and then of course you are able to sit here and cash out your money for gift cards, PayPal cash. Those people definitely had to interact with that app. Now, of course, some of those paid to download applications, you can let the application sit there and it'll still generate these points. So then it becomes a passive application, but that is a feature of that application. So this world of passive income, I just don't understand why it is so frowned upon that a person would be able to actually sit here. Why would that be something that's frowned upon? Is it jealousy or something from different companies? The fact that we could actually sit here, relax, and make some money? Why is it okay for the person that put in the effort to build a blog, took all the time to create a blog online, and then they put advertisements on that blog, that website, and then they get passive income from that? But they put in a ton of effort to be able to make it to that point to do just that. So it is really frustrating to see that more companies are not becoming more open to this idea of doing this, because once again, you're going to see these advertisements. It's just a fact. If you have a phone farm, the management that it takes to have something like this going in your home, you are going to see advertisements irregardless. And the overall bigger point is there are so many different applications that you can use, right? Unless they come up with some sort of a system that only allows you to use one application in your home on one phone, it's not going to happen. There's going to be more paying applications that come out. So you can't really stop a person from running these phones in their home. You can't stop a person from sitting here with 7 different smartphones and downloading applications on 7 different phones. This is going to be here. This is a reality now. Like having a phone farm, maybe having over 100 phones has become a lot more difficult, though it is still doable. But this is a reality now that these will be in homes. People will be doing this, and they will be using these applications to make money as long as they are available. And there are plenty of applications to choose from right now. So it's funny, we are still seeing brand new applications coming out. It seems like every single month to every other month there is a brand new app that comes out, and we are still seeing passive applications that are coming out as well. So, and I think that we're going to see more passive applications in the future. So it is attractive to most people. That is the one thing to point out. It is more attractive to a person to see an application that you don't have to sit here and be frustrated with and you can make money with than any other paying app out here. So at the end of the day, people would go for the passive app over everything. So guys, I'm talking about this stuff because it's what really needs to be discussed. If once again, I've been doing these videos because I want to reach home with some of the people that have these companies and that host these ads and put these ads out. I want to hit home with them and try and make a point overall and make them understand. They're like, and I will keep this phrase throughout the rest of this channel till the end of time, that you cannot force a person to watch an advertisement. Right now, a good example is I have a pop-up blocker right now that I use for YouTube, that I use whenever I go to a streaming movie website. It's called uBlock Origin. So I block out advertisements. If I don't want to watch an ad, I will not watch that advertisement. You should definitely check out that Chrome extension because it'll block out all of those annoying ads that you really don't want to have to deal with. So, like I said, if a person wants to view these advertisements, they will. If they don't, they won't. I'm going to have some information throughout this video that kind of breaks down key parts of the article that was wrote by Vice. Some of the things that I didn't like are definitely going to be within the podcast. And then some of the things that I really felt like they did right will be within this podcast as well for you guys to see up on the screen. But I also want to say that it was very awesome of them to give me that opportunity to sit here and have a conversation with I guess he was the lead journalist of Motherboard. It was really awesome to sit here and talk with him and kind of share this world and how people make money this way. It was a really awesome opportunity. So, and hopefully more opportunities like that are going to happen in the future. So I want to talk to you guys about the fact that I do have some guests that are now slated to be on the podcast. So to let you guys know very specifically, some of the very top Get Paid To websites, owners of those websites will be right here within the podcast. I've been reaching out to a couple of different owners of paying applications, and we should see a couple of different owners of developers of applications will also be in this podcast. So this is a shout out to you guys out here that are maybe watching this podcast right now or listening to it. If you would like to join us here on the Beer Money Podcast, I'd love to hear your opinions of this world. What do you think is right? What do you think is not right about using these applications to make money? How do you think that things should be? Do you feel like I'm just 100% wrong and no one should have any sort of paying apps here within their home? And why? Why do you feel like we should not be able to have so many phones making money this way? Why is it? So, guys, there's a lot I could ramble on about, and I really don't want to do just that. I really want to try and keep everything focused on something that's like a positive resolution for the future of of these apps. Like if we could see just a few more passive applications pop up, or even if they're not going to be passive, have a feature that's somewhat passive and also pay really, really decently. So if I just don't think, I question what it's like for people that own these get paid to websites. A good example is, like, I really think this would be a good example. Game Tame. So it's a get paid to website, and they do have an application that goes along with their website. And also it has video advertisements. We talked about this in the last podcast. But how well are these sites actually doing? How much money do they make every single month? And how much do the people right up at the top, how much money do they make every single month? The most popular paying applications right now, how much profits have they really seen from all of this stuff? So I really would like to think that only the ones that are up at the top and have the most attention have made the most money. So, or making anything that you would say is a substantial amount of income. If I was to point out different get paid to websites out here that are not that popular, I really think, mainly because I had a get paid to website, I really think that they don't make a really large amount of money. I think it's for the smaller get paid to websites, it's under $1,000 a month that those guys see. I myself, whenever I had my get paid to website, I was around between $300 and $400 a month. Out of all of the profits from the entire website combined, I made around $300 to $400 a month. So it just really depends. If you're a popular get paid to website, you're probably you're making over $1,000 a month or thousands of dollars every single month. Especially companies like Swagbucks, Prize Rebel, they're making thousands of dollars every single month. But the question is, will we see anything that pops up in the future? This is really good. Will we see anything that pops up in the future that's going to be really passive and have videos? So it's really interesting. I had a company that reached out to me very recently. They offered for me to be able to test out their application. This is why I want to give you guys some hope that there is something that's going to happen here in the future as far as this world for phone farming, and I really believe that there is. But a company contacted me recently, and they said that they will have a video watching application. And it's going to have an extremely high-paying referral system. It is going to have videos for you to sit there and watch videos. And this is coming in the future. The thing is, they have an application that's already in the Play Store. So they're working on adding a reward system. This is the one thing I'm kind of confused about so far. They're either tying in a reward system to this video watching app, or they are creating a brand new application. So I'm actually waiting to talk to them on Skype. This is something that's going to happen here pretty soon. And also, I had another individual that reached out to me somewhat recently about it, and I can't shed any details about these apps. I was requested that I don't do that specifically up until these applications are about to launch and they're ready for everyone to actually use these applications. So, of course, I can't do that, but there are 2 different applications that are in the works right now that have video watching opportunities. So think about that, guys. Like, 2 people are out here. They're shelling out, one person I know very specifically is shelling out thousands of dollars to be able to have this application created to be able to for us to make some money. So these apps can be extremely expensive, but that gives you guys the idea for what could come in the future. You don't really know that this is going to stop entirely. You don't really know whether it's going to end entirely or it's not. But if you think about things from the perspective of Swagbucks is still here with a fully passive video app, it's okay for some of these ad providers. They seem to have no issues at all whatsoever with people running these videos and running them passively. Hideout TV, formerly Engage Me TV, is still here. Fully passive videos. Video Fox, which is, I believe it's Offer Toro, has Video Fox, which is not 100% passive because you have to restart the videos after so much time. I think it's 20 minutes, is still here. And you can watch videos and make money. So some of these companies don't care. Vice. Some of these companies don't care about us having passive videos running advertisements on our phone. Now, until the day comes that every single one of these companies says, these ad providers says, we'll never do that. Until that day comes, then phone farming is not dead. We're making money this way passively. And like I said, I don't see it as a giant deal. Now, of course, people would not sit here and try to make an app more passive if there were more opportunities like Video Fox, Hideout TV, and Swagbucks with their fully passive videos over here, or other passive apps like pretty passive apps like Cash Magnet, if there were more opportunities like that. Of course, I know that a lot of you follow this information very closely, and I'm sure that some of you have heard that Cash Magnet is about to either be launching it'll be it's going to be a brand new app, but I don't know if it'll turn into a second application. That's what I believe. It's going to be a second app, and then their first app is still going to be around, but they're launching a brand new application. It's really interesting, guys, the things that could be happening within the next 1 to 2 years. Do I think that this stuff is going to be popping up instantaneously very soon? Maybe not. But I also think that there is a point to holding on to your smartphones. Once again, I'm so glad that I've held on to mine, but I think there is a point to holding on to your smartphones because you really don't know what's going to happen in the future. The only thing that we can do right now is try and maybe change the minds of some of these ad providers out here and get them back on board for this world of making money this way. Good God, ad providers, we're stuck at home. We have nothing to do but watch your advertisements right now. Like, if there was a time to get us to watch these advertisements, we are in that time period right now to where we would be seeing a ton of advertisements if we so choose to. So I really would like to educate you guys out here, and really I would like to build more people up towards this idea that you don't have to, you don't have to deal with these ads if you don't want to. So, and that's how it should be. We should be taking some of the power back that these major corporations that they have so much power, they have so much money, they are making so much money off of us, and we should have some of that money coming back to us that these guys are out here making. And we're talking trillions of dollars whenever it comes to ad revenue all across the world. Trillions of dollars. We can't have a little bit of that money coming back to us. It's really a big deal if I sit here with some Android smartphones and I run some videos. Guys, I don't want to sit here and rant. I feel like maybe that's exactly what I'm doing. But how many of you feel the same way? I've really wondered this. Am I like the only person out here that's just like, they're frustrated? Am I the only one that has these same kind of views? Like, I can't be alone in all this stuff. Would you guys be using Yes, of course you would. You'd be using a passive application if it was there. If Perk was back, how many of you would be back on Perk with your phones, launching these videos, down to following, looking at their terms and conditions and saying, I'm going to follow every single freaking rule that I have to here because I want to be able to run these apps on my phones, even if it's one phone. I mean, people would like to have these opportunities to make money. And yeah, let's really hope that some of the things that are going on kind of behind the scenes, it's going to pave the way for something better in the future. So I guess I should sit here and I should talk about NHK and how they are doing of course, they're doing a broadcast over in Japan. They're actually interviewing me, of course, Wednesday. Tomorrow they will be interviewing me. And I really want to reach out to, I guess, the people that will be seeing this channel for the first time, which potentially could be millions of people out in Japan could be seeing this channel for the first time. And I really would like to stress to them that and I think maybe there's a fair amount of people over in Japan. I'm really curious to know how many people over in Japan actually use Hideout TV, because from what I understand, I've actually talked to an owner of a Get Paid 2 website last night, and he said that, yes, people over in Japan, they can use Hideout TV. So I question how many people in Japan use these get paid to websites. And I'm really curious to hear how many sites there are that actually have Hideout TV right there on their websites, but they are strictly Japanese websites. This is information that would be really, really interesting to me. But if they have, if anyone seeing this podcast had never even heard of Hideout TV and making money this way, of course, there is Beermoney.world, which you can go over to and you can make some money with right now if you want to by simply typing that into your browser. So, where do we go from here? I guess I should talk about some of the other channels that started discussing this world of phone farming right after Vice put up that article. They sat and people put up more articles that really just slandered this whole world of making money. They made it seem like it's just something so awful and mischievous that everybody is doing in the background. And it wasn't even, there's always been the people that have automated these applications and try to tweak the apps to where they can make more money from them. And that's been going on since the very first paying application that popped up that you could make money this way. But the vast majority of people do not do that. They just don't. It's maybe a ratio of like 10% of the people that messed around with these applications to make money this way even looked into the world of automation. And I really think that it's only been more towards the decline of phone farming that people really considered doing this with these apps, that they considered picking up another application that would help them to have things less frustrating with these apps. I think it's whenever, of course, the applications start not behaving properly. That's whenever people really start looking towards doing something to make things easier on themselves. So, like, if you look at Perk as a good example, towards the end of Perk, the advertisements started to really just stop popping up on the app so much. And you would see a lot of black screens, and like the app would just, any of their apps really would stop behaving very, very well, minus just a couple. Like if we looked at app trailers, that was acting really, really bad. Perk TV, that was acting horrible. So I really think that's whenever people really started considering, maybe it's time to actually push these apps a little harder so we can actually really make money with them. But like I said, not everyone wants to sit here and do just that. They don't want to sit here and take an application and abuse it. Guys, I feel like this will probably turn into a somewhat short podcast. I know that I've been away for a second here. It's only been because of the things that are going on. I want to stress to you guys that this week I'm having another podcast up this week. I'm going to make it a point, irregardless of all of the stuff that's going on. We are going to keep putting content up on this channel. I'm going to keep trying to find ways for you guys to make some money, and we're just going to have a good time over here. But I am very specifically, I'm doing a podcast this week that is going to talk about paying websites. I really recommend that you guys tune in for this upcoming podcast that'll be up Friday, because there is going to be a website that we discussed that's not been discussed online just yet. It's going to be a discussion for this upcoming podcast. And I'll be talking about what are the most profitable paying websites right now. In fact, there'll be a couple that maybe you guys haven't heard of, but we're going to put together the best paying websites that a person could hop into and make some money really quickly online. We'll talk about those this upcoming Friday. So I guess on some final notes here, once again, a lot of appreciation goes out to Vice. I guess I'm the only phone farmer out here that was talked about here in Vice's article that actually has the ability to sit here. Well, one other person does, but I don't think he's going to say thank you for having himself being showcased within their article. He's gone. But yeah, I feel like that's everything. Thanks, major thanks goes out to Vice. I wish that they had maybe taken that article and went about it from the perspective that a little more. They mentioned that not everyone is out here doing that, so I'll give them credit for that. But I feel like they really should have talked about it from the perspective. That doesn't drive views, does it? That doesn't drive clicks on your article if, of course, you've got to have something catchy. But they really should. They should have talked about this world from the aspect that not everyone does that whenever it comes to paying smartphone applications. We're not all elite hackers. I think I said that in the last podcast as well. We're not elite hackers, and we hack every single application that we come across, and this is all anyone ever does. But yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. Once again, I know this is slightly short, but lots more still to come in the future. And guys, once again, I want to hear your opinions for the state of phone farming. And I'd like for more companies to reach out. Once we have our first actual guest over here to the podcast, I really think it's gonna prove to be pretty interesting. Also, whenever we do have this broadcast that goes out to Japan and millions of people, it is a very, very good possibility that we are going to see tons of new subscribers, as well as lots of things could happen right there. Hopefully we get some new subscribers, and if you're seeing this video and you were led here from that broadcast, I welcome you, and hopefully we can help you along the way to make some money online outside of the United States and learn some new information for how you could put money into your pocket, especially since we're just stuck here. We're just stuck. This is where we are. We're at home for a lot of people, and you still got to make some sort of money. So, but guys, I think that's everything. I will see you very, very soon with more information for making money via the web.